All right, we are in the Coastal Cliffs tournament. It is in it's Tuesday's qualifying round. I tried to qualify yesterday, but couldn't get it done. I only was able to shoot a couple holes, so we'll go out today and get it done. Let's look at the holes here. Where are we at? Coastal Cliffs. All right, hole number one. So I am not concerned too much today about the second shot numbers. What I'm looking for today is what club and what ball I'm going to bring. So on this one, I'm going to bring a big tapa. And the deal is I want to try and get all of the top spin on, so I'm not going to be able to use all the side spin. So if you're going to bring a Kingmaker, it would just be for the wind, to cut the wind down, because you're not going to be able to use the side spin. So I'm going to use could probably use a katana on this, but I'm gonna start with a Titan, the king of balls, and see where that takes me. Balls, Titan, selected. My number 3 bag, big tapa. All right, let's get on it. Let's get out there and see what happens. I took 2 shots yesterday, and this was one of them. And in the past, we've always taken off a little bit of wind going up to the cup, but I took off 10% and I missed it. I underpulled it by about 10%. So once again, we are way the hell downhill if you're out in front on this, and you should be taking some wind off. But once again, elevation is just a bullshit number. So we'll have to see what it is. And an APOC will work on this too. What might happen with an APOC is you might be too far into your shot. Like they're at the plus 16 mark, you might have to pull it back to like the plus 9 mark, or might need to pull it back a little bit. Wow, that was shit. Almost 3 rings. Great with a fucking precision ball. That was really a poor shot. You might be too far forward in your shot. Let's get all the topspin and see if we're overshooting it. And what is that, a ring and a half of side spin? 3 rings. Got my blue ring on the transitional line. Oh shit. It's 2.1 per ring. So that's about a ring and a half. Ring and a half. Max curl. Hit a 1 ring great to the right. That was just about too far. Maybe 1 tick less than max top spin. And you could see it wanted to catch the slide out there. It really wanted to go fast. This is a really bad angle to have to come at the cup for several reasons, and you definitely don't want to come at this hole with let's see how they play this, because you don't want to get caught on that hillside. If you get caught on the front of that green and start rolling down that hill even just a little teeny bit, as soon as you start rolling, it'll just roll all the way to the bottom into the sand. All right, let's see where I'm at. Let's get my calculator going. I don't have my phone up. What the hell is the deal? Where am I at? There's max. I'm at max club. 2.9. 2.9 divided by 1.2. I'm going to try a straight up shot because I tried 10% off and it didn't, I didn't like it. Should be 2.41 rings. There's 2, 4, 1. Exactly. And there isn't a blade of grass between me and the rough. Oh, fuck, and then I hit a grate. That might have worked. I just can't believe that, like, you're that far uphill and you're not having to take off. In the past we have, so they've changed it. Perfect would have been good there. Can't learn anything if you don't hit it perfect, dummy. I'm not worried about those second shot numbers, but it is nice to hit perfect in there so that you can at least get a read. Right now I'm just worried about club and ball, but you can go back and watch the video and really make notes, and on those ones you hit perfect into the cup, you can start the process of getting some numbers. Damn it. Dang it. All right, in the hole. In the hole. Okay, I played the first 2 holes yesterday, so hole number 2. This is par 3, and I tried a rough bump on here yesterday, and I was able to do the rough bump, but it ended up a little bit short. So I was kind of dead center in the middle of this, and it hit a little closer to the sand than it did to the fairway, and it came out a little fat and ended up short. So I did a 15% on it yesterday. Let's make sure the wind's blowing the same. The wind is blowing, so I'm going to try a 20% today. I'm going to bring a sniper and a quasar. Sniper and a quasar. Take that same bag. That bag will work. And I don't need I'm going to bring a navigator. I don't think I used any side spin. Let's try 20% and see how that works. See how it works. .1, 4.92 rings. It's pretty narrow, I'll tell you that. I want to be dead center in it, so when I take the shot we can really see how the wind's playing out. 4.92 rings. There's 4.92. Hitting it perfect. Now this bounce is important. It hit a little bit forward. That was a slight overpull. So 20%, I did 15. I'm going to try 17.5 or 15 plus 0.1. What would that be? That was 20. That was 4.92. If it was 50, if I did 15, it would have been 4.71 plus 0.1. Man, that 15 seems like it might have been right, but I'm going to try 17.5. It's one of the benefits of doing it by hand is that you can do any number that you want. You can do 18 if you want. 15 plus 0.1 might not be bad. If I did 17.5, it would be 17.5. It would have been 4.81. So 15 plus 1. That's a dangerous ass spot down there, though, and you can only do that, in my opinion, on certain wind days, and you definitely have to hit it perfect. So I demoed that shot, but that might not be the shot that I do. What I might do during the tournament is come at it this hole right here. I'm not a fan. I am not a fan, and will never demo hitting off of these hill faces. hill faces like this, you're aiming right there. If you're a little high, the ball's going to go left. If you're a little low, the ball's going to go right. And it's almost impossible to hit the spot. You have to have everything perfect. It's not that you can't make it. It's just it's super hard to replicate it. It's almost like putting curl in your shot. And there's a hollow right here, and it's the same crap. I mean, if you hit right where you were aiming, you're fine. But if you hit a little bit on the upper part of the hill, you take a higher bounce. If you hit on the downhill, you take a flatter bounce. And so you can get varying results on the other end. This right here is a mound. And so you got the same thing going on over here. You hit it right there, it goes one way. You hit it right there, it goes another way. You hit it right here, it goes another way. And so the one flat spot down here is right here. And so you can get bounce number one and then bounce number two and roll. The problem with this shot is that this green's got so much movement on it with all these little moguls. You can see all of the indentations and crap that are on this green that as your ball's rolling out, it's having to go through that. So if your speed's just a little slow and it hits one of those, it's going to move off in one direction. If it's going a little fast, it might blow through them and then miss the cup. And so this hole has got a lot of movement everywhere, pretty much every shot. The one shot that doesn't have a lot of movement on it is that rough bump, but that is a really tight G-string rough bump. Tight. It's there though. If you hit perfect a lot, that rough bump is the way. All right. Hole number 3. Excuse me. I'm going to try and lay it up right here. I'm going to use a rock. Rock! You can use a quarterback and a kingmaker. It helps to have a little bit of side spin on the drive. I've seen a lot of people hit it over here, but the deal is that I think this is way too much effort, and the second shot, in my opinion, blows. Now, because you've got the sand in your way, so now you have to start off in front of the sand. It's not that you can't make it if you get over here. It's just that the drive is much harder, and the second shot is not nearly as good as a straight up shot right to the cup. And I'm not so sure on the drive that you couldn't bring a katana and get it done, but the second shot, you definitely want a power 3 ball. Definitely. I'll bring a kingmaker. Sure, you talked me into it. I'm trying to wake up. It's like 6:30 at my house, and I got up immediately, went and got a can of coffee out of the fridge and started playing. So I'm half awake, half asleep. It's a little bit cold today. Feels good. Sure to warm up as the day goes on, but right now it feels good. All right, Walter. And I know that there is an adjustment to the cup, and it's a very light adjustment. I mean, we don't have to do much, but there is a slight adjustment. I'm going to start off today just doing 0. What you don't want to do is see that dip that's right there. You can easily roll off on the front of this. You can catch that freaking slide. Two eight. I'm going to do a 3-mile-an-hour pull. I'm going to lean just a little bit to the left. And I hit it 2 rings great to the right. And this is one of those courses that once it starts going on the, if you get the stuff wrong on the right-hand side, it wants to bleed off. You really want to try and stay as close to the center of that fairway as you can and give yourself, if you tank the shot like I just did, where you hit it 2 rings great one side or the other. But I'd be real careful of that dip that's out there and try not to get your, I think it's your second bounce that's going in that dip. I try and keep my second bounce in front of it on the T-box side, because I think if it hits down into it, it'll be one of those things where it's cruising along and then it hits down into it and then it picks up the slide and then it slides off. All right. I know there is a slight adjustment here. How much room do we got on the red line? You can see, like, this is where I was saying the power 3 ball comes in handy. And that wind is, we're not going to get a good read with this wind if we can hit this perfect. We got a great shot of it going in. And see how it breaks at the very end? So start off a little bit to the left and allow for that break. I'm just going to do a straight up shot. Oh, fuck. My timing's bad. It seems like I overpulled it there, but that grate should have been pretty close. But if you go over, excuse me, I'm yawning. If you move over to the left a little bit more, I think you get out of that break area. I think they started off there. If they hit it perfect and everything's right, I think they started off where it's gonna break to the right before it gets to the cup, and they'll miss on the right hand side. Could be wrong. Could be wrong. This is definitely a makeable shot. If we can figure out, once I figure out what the number is going to the cup, this is definitely a makeable shot. I remember the first time this hole came out in tournament play. This was definitely a great hole during the tournament to make an Albion. I think in the weekend round, that first time that this hole came out, I didn't make an Albion, and I was really pissed because I'd hit like pretty much Albie, and then got into the weekend round, and I'm not sure that I got an Albie in the weekend round on it. It's definitely makeable, definitely. All right, what's hole number 4? Hole number 4. All right, this fucking hole. Jeez, this is definitely a dangerous ass par 3. And I have no clue. Let me make some notes for that last hole. I got rock, Kingmaker. I put on like maybe a couple topspin. Sniper to the cup. I have no idea what to do on this hole. I know that this hole is a dangerous ass hole because that green is humped like this, and then it's capped down on the bottom with the same crap. So the pin's like right here. So if you roll past the pin with any speed, you're gonna roll right off. And it is real tight. So the possibility of ending up in the rough or the sand is there is a good possibility because there's no flat stuff on the other side. It is fairway or the green, the fringe, little teeny fairway area, and bam, you're in the rough. And if your trajectory's off when you come up to it, so if you hit a grate to the left or the right, you're going to catch the side slope, and then you're just going to roll right off. So coming in here with a lot of speed or coming in here with a lot of backspin or any of that stuff is unless it goes in the hole, you could be in some big ass trouble. I have no idea what to bring, so I'm just going to bring my number 2 bag and we'll start off with a Navigator. It looks like it's pretty straight up. I'm not sure which club I'm in, but we're about to find out. DJ, thanks for joining the channel. DJ goes first. We're in Sniper. I got a Katana. Let's see if they are minimum Sniper. So if you bring out a power 1 ball, you're probably a mid Sniper. They got 3.5 backspin. And what's weird there is they moved it to the left to take out the wind, and the wind is barely moving to the left, or from the left. You can see how tight it is. Like literally there's hardly any room behind the pin before it starts falling down the hill. There's Min. There's Max. So I'm at about mid right here. Got a 3 backspin, 3 and a titch. It looks like it, even though it's I'm at mid, so that'd be 3, maybe about 3.5 rings. Hitting it perfect. Wow, I can hit it perfect. Look at that. Let's see if it. I can't believe that didn't get all the way to the. That was 3 and a titch of backs or a spin, so I'm thinking maybe 3.5 at least. Maybe 3 3/4. Make some notes here. Sniper. Navigator. Navigator. What's funny there is that where the cup was at, the cup is here, and I had my ball guide. It looked like at the very end it was going to break to the right, but I had my ball guide, so it was kind of looking to the left, and then it really broke to the right. And that wind was going like this, so doing a little bit of addition on it wouldn't have been a bad idea, like adding on a little bit of wind. But this is where shooting your own video really comes in handy, because I can really go back and pause it where I set the ball guide up and really take a look at where it was at on the course, and then go back, speed it forward to where the shot comes through to see how it ended up over here and how it rolled out, because it looked like it was going to break right before it got to the cup, and it definitely did something right there before it got to the cup, because it was way right. Way right. All right. All right. Hole number 5. Hole number 5. What do we have here? All right, I haven't played this hole in forever and a day, and I know that there's going to be a shit ton of people that are going to lay it up right here and then try and bounce off this island to get over. I suppose if you brought a big enough ball, maybe if you bring a big enough ball, you could start off over here, but I think most people are going to bounce off the island. I'm not I think if you bring just a mortal ball, you're bouncing off the island, and I'm not sure if you bring out a big enough ball if you could even get over here. But you're also going to see a ton of people who come out here and are laying it up onto this island who fail who fail that layup shot and end up in the rough or the sand, and they end up in trouble on a layup. Okay? If you're doing a layup, you have got to make that layup shot. I mean, it's one of those things, you see it all the time. somebody's out there and they just pound it down there. They max OP it, they do a bunch of stuff, and then they fail. And they fail way down here because they were trying to get over here, and they fail right here, and you're like, man, that was a stupid shot, idiot. And then you lay it up and you end up in the rough right here, you're screwed. But they can easily make it from there. So if you're going to do a layup, you have to make that shot. You have to. It's a priority. In the past, I've come here. I don't know that the last time we played this hole that I had, like if I've used my APOC, I played this with a big topper and tried to run out all the topspin and max curl and do a blind curl shot using this transitional surface as my reference point. So you're off, going off like this, and using this, I think, like 3 rings off, and then trying to just do a max curl shot with all your topspin and ending up down here. Because you have a great, beautiful shot if you can end up down here. I mean, anywhere, like here's the peak of the hill, and then you're going down at anything below that, you do have a shot where you can start off on the green side and really go at it. But if you can get all the way to the bottom and straighten that shot up, you have a spectacular shot. Let's practice this hole one time, because I have no idea what the... Let's see here. Let's continue. Let's practice it one time. And what would I take here? This is one of those things, if you're going to do a max curl shot, it doesn't... Which way's the wind blowing? Hey, hold on. It's not going to do me any good to bring out... I really want to bring out a par 3 ball. Let's start off... Let's start off with an APOC. I think your big topper... The thing about the big topper is that I think... What kind of... This level, it's got 83 curl. I'm not sure. We'll try a big topper. Let's try a big topper. And let's try a power 3 ball. And since we're trying to run all the topspin, it's not going to worry. We're not going to bring a Titan, because I can't get all of the side spin. And oh, I didn't practice. I didn't practice. So we're out on the freaking hole, and you're all going, dummy. So let's practice now. The deal is that it starts off good, I think, with 3.5 rings, but when you get down towards the bottom, it tightens up on the right hand or on the left hand side. 2.5. 2.5. We'll see. It's 2.1 per ring, so I'm going to do a ring and a half. Isn't it perfect? And it's at the end of the run, you start running out of fairway. And that was like, I started off about 2.5 rings of separation with the transitional surface on the right hand side when I was max pulled. Normally on those shots, I start off around the 3 rings off, but the farther you get down the fairway, and you can see where I'm at, the fairway starts coming in on the left hand side and it starts coming into the right. And I've ended up in the rough down there by the end of those rocks, because you run out of fairway. You're getting the distance you're looking for, but you run out of fairway. So you gotta tighten it up a little bit at the beginning of the shot. And an APOC, you may not have to do the overpower. You won't have as much topspin, so you won't make it as far down the hill. But you can start up higher on the hill without having to do any overpower. It's definitely a shot worth practicing. For those people out there that have like a APOC 7, man, you can really fucking pound that down there. So if you can get all the way down to that area, you can start off right here. I think there's a rough bump that you can do. Hey, 2.5. I was trying to get it to go to a certain spot and it kept jumping. There's just 2.5. That's just a straight up adjustment. Oh, perfect spot and missed it. I think from that spot, just a straight up adjustment might work. But you're only going to get that shot if you're on way down on that hillside. Now, if you brought out a bigger ball, you wouldn't have to get quite as far down. But it is possible to get down there with a power 3 ball and get into that rough bump range. See if my opponent can make it over easily. And then some. And then a little bit more. Wow, they overshot that big time. All right. That's one way to do it. Yeah, and I would definitely recommend practicing that shot a few times. But I think most people have probably got a big topper that's in the like 215 range, and that big topper's in the 219 range. Or 219. So you should be able to get that done. In my 77 account, I've got a level 7 big topper, and it hits 225. So you get into the deal where if I would have did max overpower on that, I'd have to see where the first bounce was up at the top. You could overshoot it. And I really like to play those shots where you're either doing no power or you're doing max power. If you had an APOC, I would definitely break at least 3 rings off. Let's go look at that hole. Let's go look at it. Yeah, so trying to be 3 rings off of this, I was like 2.5 rings. Let me make some notes here. Is that hole number? What hole was that? That was hole number 5. So if I use a big topper and a Titan, it's like 2.5 rings off. Max OP. Max curl. And if we draw a line here at the top, so when you're coming down the hill, draw this line. You can start off, like normally, like I said, I like to start those about 3 rings off and then it rolls down, but you'll end up running out a fairway down here at the bottom. So you got to be trying to keep it close to this edge. I probably could have started off 2 from where I ended up down there and been 2 rings off, where it'd be a little bit tight up here at the top of the shot. But as it rolled out, it's going to be moving a little bit to the left, and that might give you a little bit of room. It's a dangerous ass shot, but if you can get down into that area, you definitely have it. The other way you could do that is you could bring out a bigger power ball to start off with, so you didn't have to do the overpower. That way you could try and make this, because you really want to hit out perfect. That's probably the smart move, is to bring out a bigger power ball. And since we're trying to run all of the top spin and we're not going to be able to get all of the side spin, this might not be a bad area to bring out a ball that's got a couple extra top spin just to get you way down there. Even if you didn't do the overpower, if you had like a 4 power, 2 top spin ball, not doing the overpower, just using the top spin and the curl. And it's all about finding out where you need to be out here so that you're on the right trajectory at the end of the run. All right, there you go. There you have it. Can that go wrong? You bet. I haven't decided which way I want to play this hole yet. I'll tell you, with some of these four, and I don't have any in this account, but with some of the, with a rock, because of how much topspin you can get on it, I think you could get like 4 side spin. And in the past, if you wanted to take a shot from down in here and you wanted to try and bring it around, you really need side spin. There is a max overpower hook shot that you can do from this way, and I can't remember where to start it. I see a lot of people come out on this hole and they bring out an extra mile and they're trying to, hey, I love extra miles. Everybody in the game has used an extra mile a lot. Pound for pound, it's probably the most used club in the entire game. But this is not a hole for an extra mile. Even for an APOC, if you're going to do the APOC, you don't need the distance out here on the tip. Because what happens is you start pushing yourself through the shot. So if like this is the cup, and you need to start your movement off here so that you're moving towards the cup. If you get, the farther forward you get in this, the more you're taking your angle out. So if you have an APOC and that's the club that you have that has the most curl as far as driver, you don't need to get all the way down here to the tip. Because if you're going off in this direction and now you need to cover this angle, this is too big of an angle for it. You're going to end up out here. So if you pull that shot back so that you're down in this area, now you can start to cover that. So a QB, and I used a QB on this for a long, long time. Rock, depending on what level you have it on. Whichever one of those has the most curl. And you can lay yourself up out here in front, and you've got a chip to get on. A very makeable chip. You can come this way, like I said, and there is a max overpower hook shot there. I believe you might be able to do a max curl shot from this side as well. I'm going to practice this hole once. Let's make sure we hit practice. Practice. This hole was coming up in a tournament, and I was only a few cards short of my rock of maxing it out, and I was able to max it out by the time the tournament started, or I maxed it out during that week, and I was so excited because this is a hole I played with my rock, and when you get your rock maxed out, it gets all of its curl. It's got like, what, 98%, or I'm not sure if it's 100, but it's pretty close. And then I was sticking around with Dale Appleby, and we started doing the max overpower hook shot on this hole, and then it really it wasn't as big a deal. Let's see here. Kingmaker. So you're trying to make up that distance, so being back a little bit so that you can try and roll up that hill, try and pick up a little bit of steam and roll up the hill, and then roll down right out here in front. Let's see from over here. Got to bridge that gap, but there is a max overpower hook shot that you can do from over here. I've had more luck just trying to get it up on the, and I use that marker. It's kind of the zone. I usually like to leave myself, when I'm doing max curl shots, 3 rings of separation. But this is one of those areas where if you pinch it up, it doesn't, you need to get as close on the right as possible. If I remember correctly, I've always done plus 10% on the drive. Let's see where my opponent starts theirs off at. Not so sure if you didn't come out here with a, if you were doing the max overpower hook, you could probably bring a katana. I think they're too far forward in their shot. They're short shooting it. And they hit it great to the left. They got all that going for them. And they made it. You can see how steep that hill is. So you can try and get up the hill and then let it roll back down to the cup to pick up a little bit of distance. You just don't want to hit that hill with too much speed. Otherwise it'll just blow off the top. I'm at the 0 mark right there. I'm going to start off with my blue ring on the transitional line. 4, 5, and that might not be enough. I'll try a max overpower hook and see how that comes out, just so that we can get a trajectory. I think it's going to be too high. There you go. There you have it. There's one way to go at it. Because you can do the shot that my opponent's doing, and I've done that shot set up. You really need to, you got to work the club that you have on how much curl you've got and how much topspin you can get away with, so you don't blow off the top of that hill. And just do a max curl, no overpower, no nothing. 3 side spins, definitely the key. If you have a 4 side spin ball, it might be even better, because if you only have like 4 or 5 topspin on your club, you might be able to use all the topspin and get like 4, 4 1/4, 4 1/2 side spin as well. Definitely worth watching to see where I set that up. I think I was at +0 and blue ring off of the transition. And you'll have to do that with whatever club you have in your bag so that you can get the right angle. And go out there and find markers where I set it up, because I'm not sure where I set it up if I was still at +0. All right, if you want to do that max overpower hook shot, at least you got a place to start. A look at it. If you don't have, if your rock doesn't have that much curl, you can still do that shot. You could do that shot with an APOC, an APOC 4, I think it's got 92. You could do it with a big Tapa. And it's just about finding, how much has that got? It's got 98. What's a big Tapa got? Big Tapa, 83. It's an APOC got. An APOC 5's got 92, but I think an APOC 4's got 92 as well. So you can go, you can start that shot off. Look for markers out here where I set that up. I think I was at +0 right here, but you can come out. I had blue ring, was on this side of the transitional line. But you can look out here and try and see like where my rings were touching and work that with your club. This will be a hole that you'd have to practice a few times to find your spot out here. And if you've got a different curl, then you may have to move it forward or back in the shot a little bit. If it doesn't have enough curl, it's going to want to go out here. So you may have to move it closer to the tee box in order to get the trajectory so that it's going right down the fairway. There was enough on that one where I came out that there was lots of room on this side. So even if you only had 92 versus 98 curl, I think you still would have cleared on the rough. But there is a max overpower hook shot that you can do over there. I'm not so sure because I had so much room forward. I was pulling it back from the red line that you couldn't use a quasar. You just have to allow for that because it's not going to curl as much. You just have to allow for that in your shot. But there is definitely a max overpower hook shot that you can get right up on it. Whereas if you're coming this way, in most cases, your best result's going to be just being right off of the green, and then you will still have a short chip. If you're using a rapier, it's probably going to be like a mid-club chip. I like that hole though. We have options. We have options. All right, what's our next hole? What is our next hole? Hole number 7. Let me make some notes for hole number 6. I'm not even going to make any notes for hole number 6. I'm going to go back and watch that video and see what the deal is, because I do like them. That's what's funny about it, is I waited until I could get that rock, and then I started doing a max overpower hook shot on there, and I didn't really need that rock. I could have set that up with multiple different clubs. If I remember correctly, this is not my favorite par 3 in the game. I'm not a fan of hitting off of this and trying to bridge the water and deal with the sand. I think starting off on this side, but this is one of those ones where I think maybe you need more than 3 side spin in order to really get to the cup. It's difficult. In order to get there, you got to get really close to the sand. You can't leave yourself a bunch of separation and then bring the ball around, but if you had like a 4 side spin ball, you might be able to. If I remember this hole correctly, this is not my favorite hole in the world. We'll start off with a quasar. This might be one of those hit the ball, get on the green, putt out, move along to the next holes. Part of the deal there is I don't have, in any of my accounts, I don't have any low wind or low power 4 or 5 side spin. I think in my 77 account I have one. I have some of those 0 power precision balls that have 5 side spin. Full fishing. Oh, we got to play that hole. Forgot we practiced. What was I thinking? Oh, I guess I get to try that shot again. We'll see if I can find the right spot again. We'll see. I was just sitting here thinking, wow, I tanked that shot. I tanked that first one on there, so now but I was able to pick up the birdie. So that won't hurt my round. I can still qualify, and then I forgot that I practiced. Now that is one way to go. You can lay it up. All right. First things first. Let's switch balls. Let's see if I can replicate it. Is at the +0 mark. I moved it over. See if there's any identifying marks out here. Almost to the rock. 3/8. Maybe. Whoa down, Cat Daddy. A little bit too much topspin. There isn't really any identifying marks out there. Which is unfortunate. Go have your caddy stand over there. You go stand in that spot and I'll aim towards you. For some reason, golf class doesn't let us do that, but Let's see if I can sink the shot from the rough. I'm close enough. All I got to do is hit it perfect. Wind is definitely not going to be a factor. Let's try and hedge my bet. I might be able to hit it perfect and a grate to the right. That was way too far to the right. That was 2 rings to the right. I think a 1 ring grate to the right and a perfect would have went in, but not a 2 ring. I almost replicated, just a little too long on that one. Just a little short, just a little less top spin. My trajectory wasn't as good on that. I was out just a little bit too far. I needed to bring it in. Where my white ring was at, I was off the rock just a little bit, and I need to bring it so that the white ring is damn near touching that rock. So the rock was out here like this, and my white ring was, I was out towards the tip of it, and if I brought it towards me a little bit so that the white ring was as close to the rock as possible, that would have brought my shot in so that when I rolled out, I would have been more in the center of the fairway and I had more fairway there. All right, hole number 7, hole number 7, hole number 7. This one we're going to bring out a quasar. Although a katana might not be bad on this hole because it's got more side spin. Dumb game. Let's see if we can get it in. Not very damn likely. I think I've made a few hole-in-ones on this hole, but this is definitely not a bastion of hole-in-ones for me. It's where you got to start off down there. Might not be a bad idea to bring a Guardian either. You could get a little bit closer and really try and get the hop. You're way the hell downhill. Way the hell downhill. I'm going to start off with a 30%. Just you're so far down that hill. Elevation's all bullshit, but they do hold true with the downhill stuff. You got to make some adjustment. They used a katana. Where's Max? There's Max. There's Min. So I'm at mid club. .5. I'm going to just do the 4.55. Even though I'm at mid club, I'm going to do a max number with 30%. 4.55 rings. Hitting it perfect. Definitely didn't woe up like the ball guy was saying. Definitely. Close. And based off that bounce, I overpulled it slightly. If I'd have did it divided by 1.1, it was 4.55. It would have been 4.13, and that still wouldn't have been enough. That wouldn't have been enough. It would have came in on the other side. So maybe max club minus 0.1. What hole is that? I'm going to do a sniper. I'm not so sure that a Guardian wouldn't work better. Katana. 1 per ring. Plus 30. Plus minus 0.1. A Guardian would let you get, it's got more backspin, so you could get up there closer to it, and you could try and move it. Your ball guy's not as good. That hole is just, and I'm sure somebody out there's like, no, dude, you play it this way, and it hole-in-ones every time. Not a fan of that hole. Not a fan. Yeah, if you came out here with, like I was, you're flirting with this hillside, so I was trying to get in front of this, so at least I'm hitting off of a flatter area. So in order to get enough backspin, if you had a Guardian, you could pull forward up in here and then try and bring it back to the cup and get a little bit of suck back. Put all the backspin on there so that it stops really quick. Not a fan. Not a fan. But I will say this about this hole, is that there's going to be, of the holes that we've seen so far, there's a lot of holes that people are going to epic fail on, but this is going to be the par 3 that people are going to end up in that sand. And there are some risks that are involved in this hole. So of all of the par 3s in the game in this particular tournament that people might epic fail on, this is going to be the one. So walking away from this hole with a birdie is not a bad thing. All right, in the past, I've always tried to just get down here, but I'm not so sure, because if you bring out a 3 power ball, you can start your shot off right here. I think your red line's right in this area. If you've got, you can bring out your APOC. So if we do an arc from the cup, we're in this area as far as red line goes. With a 3 power ball, with a 5 power ball, you might be up in this area. And if you've got one of those topspin boost balls, you might be able to make it over to this side and take this shot. Now, if you can just barely get over and you look at down in here and you do an arc, your same club, either one of these shots. So you'd really want to try and like bleed out and get down in here so you have a short little chip. But it might be possible to get over to the other side. You got to deal with that sand. So you're going to have to hit, and it's on a little downhill deal right there. So it could be tricky, but you might be able to get over to the other side. Maybe. The other way you can do this is you can do a blind curl shot, where you can leave yourself, if you've got like mid-level clubs and you've got a quarterback, you can start off 3 rings of separation off of this surface and do a max curl shot. You can't put all the topspin on because you will roll off the tip. And it's tight right in this area. The first bounce is in the clear, but the second bounce, especially if you hit a great to the left, your second bounce can clip this rough and you might roll out and just be right in this area. You can hit up to the top, and there is a rough bump that you can do off of this. You give yourself a nice little T rough bump. If you're hitting down into this area, you're just trying to go straight to the cup. I don't have any topspin boost balls, but I'm going to look at this shot real quick, but I'm going to hit it to the right. Let's do ball inventory here. Let's see what I got. I'm not sure that my rock hits far enough to get down in there. I think you really need an APOC. I could be wrong. I could be. I could be wrong. That wind's definitely beneficial. See if we can get an opponent. Maybe. Big hitter. I go first. Of course, I go first. Yeah, so you can see where my red line is with a 3 power ball. You might, with a 5 power ball, be able to get over there. Maybe. Well, I thought I could get in front of that. But obviously I can't. Obviously. I'm going to do just a little. 3-3. Shit. I'm going to tank this shot. That was way over pull. Isn't it perfect? For some reason, I was thinking you could get in front of that area. Not enough topspin. I had like 2 on there. Seems to me in the past I've been able to get in front of that. And maybe I brought out a bigger ball in order to get in front of it. Could have ran like 3.5 topspin. I'm not a fan of coming in here with overpower because you're really trying to pinpoint it. I think the last time we played this, Dunner and I were trying to go for the green where we were hitting bigger power balls, going max overpower, and trying to blast it down the hill and get through the sand, and at the very last gasp, just rough out of that, bump out of that rough, and get on the green and won, and do exactly what my opponent was doing, but bringing out like a 4 power ball so that we could hit that little face right there and try and pop it up in the air and end up on the fairway. I actually think that's what Dunner and I were trying to do the last time we played this hole. There's Max. There's Min. I'm at mid club. I don't think I have enough topspin. Well, maybe I do. Maybe I do. 3.9. 3.9 divided by 1.3 would be 3 rings, and I am definitely downhill. There's 3. Oh, a little. Oh, fucking, I hit a grade again. My timing sucks today. There's a lot of different ways that you can really go at it, but if you can get down there, I think the last time that we played this hole, now that I saw my opponent do that, I think that's exactly what we were trying to do. And if I remember correctly, there was, there was one day that I missed it completely, and actually, if you bring out a big enough power ball, you can miss that and actually hit the fairway. I got my bounces right and ended up bouncing over the green. But you have a shot at it. There's a lot of ways you can get aggressive on this hole. That way right there might be better than trying to hit it over to the left and trying to get over in front. Let's practice that one time. What do I have for ball inventory? Do I have any Power 5 balls? Let's try that one time. Not sure if I have. I only have 1. It's not going to cut it. Let's look at it. So what my opponent did was they tried to just do a straight up max overpower shot, getting a bounce and then trying to hit this face so that you can get, because the face is so damn steep, trying to bounce over and get over to the other side. They left themselves a little bit short. So maybe a 4 power ball would, like if you think about distance wise, on a max overpower shot, it might have got them right to that spot. And that works fine on days that we have any kind of wind that's on the positive side of the fence, but if we've got any kind of headwind days, it's going to jack that shot way up. You're going to have to change your shot. You'll have to change to a Power 5 ball, or you'll have to do something different, because the wind, especially when you're going downhill on days when we got a headwind, it's super affecting the ball. So having 2 shots in your bag, if you've got days that you got tailwind or positive wind, you could go for it, go for the green, but on days where there's headwind, just laying it up. I'm not so sure because of where our bounces are. This shot over to this side might still be viable. If I was going to shoot over to this side right here, what I'd want to do is try and get my bounces so that I was in this area and I had a little bit of curl on it to bring me back over to the fairway so that you just ended up out here. So if you do the line, you are inside of the arc right here and you got a straight up shot. However, if you can get down here to the bottom, you do have a rough bump that you can do. That's pretty decent. There's a lot of different ways that you can play that. And you really got to figure out which way is the best way to play it with your clubs and what you can do consistently. I think either one of these shots, trying to hit it over to here or trying to hit it over to here, are going to be great on days that you got good wind, but on days that we have headwind, it's going to change. Whereas here you can shoot this shot, shoot this shot, shoot this shot, and really practice the second shot. I wasn't as far down here as I would like to have been, being up in this area, so I still have some work to do as far as getting a consistent landing spot. But you still got a great shot. Even if you're up here, you still got a great little tee rough bump. All right. What is the next hole? Hole number 9. I think during the walkthrough, this hole was listed wrong, and I'll tell you that on Golf Clash Notebook, this hole is listed wrong as well. This is not the picture that's in the hole. They've got it wrong on there as well. So I don't know if Tommy was using Golf Clash Notebook stuff and that this is how they screwed it up, but this was not the hole that I demoed in the scouting report. Now you can try and hit it up here to the top, and you're going to come in through this area and try and roll it down, but this is a tough ass area where this little fairway rough area is a freaking magnet, and it's hard because you're at the very end of your run as far as rollout trajectory. If you're off just a little bit, you can end up in trouble on the mound. You can end up in where it just rolls off, and it's very difficult up here. It does give you a decent shot coming down at it, but you can hit it out here to the tip, and then come at it where you've got to bounce in front of the sand, and you go over the sand and you go straight at the cup. I'm going to try this shot. We'll try that. We will. All right, let's think. What do I need for the drive? I'm going to bring that bag right there, and I'm going to bring a Kingmaker, because I believe on the drive we need some side spin, and we still may have to use curl. So I mean, a Titan might work fine because you got to use curl, and you got to use enough curl that a Titan might be the right ball to bring. I haven't taken the shot on this hole in a long time. I can't even remember the last time I've taken a shot on this hole, but I know that the shot to the left is dangerous. Danger, Will Robinson. Danger. I guess you can get over to the other one. If I remember correctly, it doesn't take a lot of topspin. Where am I at? Can't see my freaking... Some of these sandy holes, you can't see your damn ball guide. Two. I have no idea where I'm at. That was an overpull for sure. Isn't it perfect? Should have practiced this hole. I pulled way back from the red line because I was down there at the tip, but it was too sharp of an angle, and you're on the downhill, so it's going to want to keep the bounce flat. So I was trying to pull back where I was on a hill face where the ball would go up. You can do an overpower shot and try and get over there. This is another one of those holes that you can use the rocks to your advantage. These holes came out later on in the game. A lot of the first holes that came out, you weren't going to use the rocks to your advantage. But some of the holes in the later game, that's a power 5 ball with topspin boost. Where the hell are you trying to go, dude? I suppose on a big big day, you might be able to make it over to the very next fairway, but you got way too much shit on there for that. That's going to end up not, even if it hits the fairway here, it's going for a ride. And you're a mile away from that fairway. Wanting to break right there at the end. Get right down on them. I'm just going to do a 3-2 pull. If I can get lined up with the wind. And if I can move the ring set, not the course. 3-2. Oh, fuck. My timing sucks today. That was 75 rings great to the left. Rolled out good. I think I'd be better off there because of how far back I pulled back from the red line to bring my rock, but you definitely want to bring whatever club you have that's got the most curl. Whether that be a rock, quarterback, APOC, Big Tapa, whatever it is, because you're pulling back from the red line, so any club's going to work. And on the second shot, you definitely want to have a 3-power ball. So you could take the drive with a katana, but I think you'd be better served. And you definitely want to get all of the side spin and however much top spin you can get on. Taking those shots blind. Blind, no practice. Not hitting perfects. And still managed to get it in. Alright, that's what minimum score looks like. There's a lot of opportunities on this course to pick up shots, though, if we can put ourselves in the right spot on the drive. I'm not sure that I see any gimmies, but we definitely have, definitely have an opportunity. 13 at the top. Let's go look at them really quick. So if we can put ourselves in a good spot, so I guess we are hitting for down in here, and we have a great sniper shot to the cup. I pulled back. This is all, it's not really showing it good here, but it's all kind of downhill until right here there's a little ridge. I pulled back to that ridge to try and get myself, number one, to get myself, I was too far in the shot here. If I would have tried it from down in this area, my angle was too steep in order to cover it. I would have ended up in the rough. Or I would have only been able to put on one topspin just to try and get over there and then stick it. My opponent brought out a big power ball and was able to hit over here with a max LP shot, but you're trying to stop it. I suppose if we had a tailwind and you had a topspin boost power 5 ball, you might be able to get out here far enough that you might be able to bridge this gap, because they were kind of like out in here. They still had quite a bit of distance between them and the fairway. So I suppose it could be possible if we have the right wind and you got the right ball. It could be possible. Could be. But that's only going to be possible on days that we have a tailwind. And a decent tailwind, not one of these side tailwinds. So that might be a shot that you have in your bag just for the day that we have a tailwind. But I think consistency-wise, just getting yourself out here so you have that sniper shot that I have, you can get that done every single day, no matter what the wind, because you pulled so far back from the red line that you got plenty of room to work out wind. Not a gimme. Hole number 8. We definitely have a great opportunity for to pick up an eagle here, whether we do the rough bump or whether we try and go straight at it or what the deal. I think once again we have some trick shots that we can do here where we could try and get over to the green side if you had a big enough ball and the wind was right. But consistency wise, I think just laying it up and then taking that shot is the way to go. I'm not a fan of that hole. This hole right here, we have a great opportunity. I think of all of the holes that we have a great opportunity, like this might be the best one because we can get green side right off the green. And I think we can do it from either side. I think the left-hand side is going to be a little bit harder. Like if you got a 4-side spin ball, that might be better, which is something we didn't have when this hole originally came out, but there is a max overpower hook shot that you can do on here to get you right up on it. Hole number 5. Hole number 5. This is going to be a hole that's going to eat a lot of people's lunch because a fail on this hole could be epic. But if you can get down here, you really do have a great shot at Albie. And I'm not sure, like, if you're maybe in this area, you might still have a great shot. You might not be able to do the rough bump. I didn't have a lot of room in front of the rough, in front with a 3-power ball. So if you aren't hitting all the way to the bottom, you might need to bring out a bigger power ball so that it would be better to start off on the green side than it would be to try and stay here and then bounce it over. It's probably a good hole for people to bring out their big dog, but like my opponent that was on there, they got their topspin wrong and they ended up down here in the sand. So, got shots. Hole number 4, the dogs are up, and that's going to be a tricky par 3. We have a great opportunity for Albie on that hole. As sad as it might be, this might be our best opportunity for hole 1. And hole number 1, we definitely have a great opportunity to pick up an eagle here. We can put ourselves in the right spot right in the front and have a pretty decent shot. All right, that was my practice qualifying round for the Coastal Cliffs. I will get my 77 account here and shoot a video on it and see if my notes worked out. Thanks for watching and have a great week.